They say after your greatest failure comes your greatest success. And that's what Black Flag was for Ubisoft. After giving the world the dumpster of a game Assassin's Creed 3, they actually made a pretty decent game according to my Ubisoft standards. Now, I heard that the game, when it first came out, it was loaded with bugs, but this was one of the games that Ubisoft was consistently updating and fixing. And here I am a couple years later, and what I see is an almost perfectly functioning Assassin's Creed game, mechanics and all. See, Assassin's Creed 3 was trash, but the mechanics that were presented in that game had hope. And Ubisoft took these mechanics and started fine-tuning them and then just ran with it. I actually really enjoyed this end product. Yeah, you got your classic trailing missions that people find boring, which they are, but that's just how Ubisoft do. They aren't perfect, but they're trying. Anyways, they did make some changes that I was quite a fan of, and maybe you guys were too. They gave us an improved eagle vision, which allowed you to mark enemies and see them through walls, which I liked because before the timer would always go off because you'd lose sight of them. The sneaky mechanic is damn near perfect. In Assassin's Creed 3, I feel like there wasn't enough foliage to hide in, but in Black Flag, there's bushes everywhere, which is awesome because it gives you the ability to approach certain scenarios differently. Instead of just big ballsing it and fighting everyone, you can sneak around quietly assassinating guards to get to your objective. Hunting was a major improvement, as you don't have to deal with clues anymore and you can shoot your prey with pistols without damaging the pelts like in Assassin's Creed 3. With the items gained from hunting, you can craft a variety of different items. There are so many different animals to hunt as well, both on land and sea, and some that can only be found on certain islands. Next, we have pistols. In Assassin's Creed 3, the reload time for pistols was painfully realistic and boring. Ubisoft solved this by giving us multiple pistols equaling multiple shots being fired and a slightly faster reload time, which makes all the difference. Pistols make boss fights a breeze. I think I use a pistol on almost every boss. Speaking of weapons, you have a good variety as well as a much easier weapon breakdown. In Assassin's Creed 3, you had weapons that would give you +9 speed, -3 damage, +15 combo. There was just no consistency. In Black Flag, you have less options, but at least everything from speed, stun, or damage is out of a scale of 5. And as the weapons get better, the stats usually equally rise. It's just so much better. Lastly, we'll talk about ocean combat, ships, and everyday life of a pirate. Obviously, this game is centered around being a pirate, so with that comes ocean warfare and a variety of cannons and ways to attack your enemy. This was my favorite part of the game. Fighting on the sea was a lot of fun, and I loved being able to board enemy ships, attack huge forts, and rob people of their cargo. This is where I tip my hat to Ubisoft because I think they really nailed this part of the game. I loved when we traveled to open sea, the crewmates would sing, you can run into huge storms and tornadoes, and with a huge open world to travel through, there's just so much for someone to explore and play. Alright, let's talk about the story. Now I know Ubisoft is not known for the storyline, I mean they gave us the first civilization bullshit after all, but this story of Edward Kenway has its moments where they get you to feel something. And I actually like the way they went about the Abstergo company this time. In this game, we have the classic Abstergo company, who is today's Templars. Abstergo now has an entertainment company called Abstergo Entertainment, where they've teamed up with the best gaming company, Ubisoft, to create a virtual experience for people to enjoy using the Animus. Ubisoft really threw themselves in the game. Anyways, you are a new hire for Abstergo Entertainment who is to collect footage and explore the life of Edward Kenway, a pirate. It's all fun and games as you're just an employee, until going through memories you stumble upon some information that the heads of Abstergo would like to know more about. Diving deeper into the story, our protagonist is Edward Kenway, who wants nothing more than to seek his fortune and live the good life. He doesn't really care about how he gets his fortune, which leads him to a life of piracy. He then meets the assassin who was betraying the Assassin Brotherhood by joining the Templars and delivering an ancient relic. Hoping to collect the reward, Edward dresses up as the assassin and finishes his mission. Now, Ubisoft always introduces all our enemies in the beginning of a game. Like, bro, give me a surprise. They actually do give you a couple surprises at the end of the game, which I'm surprised about. Anyways, the Templars are looking for something called the Observatory, which gives you the ability to spy on anyone. Well, Templars being the assholes that they are, they just gotta have this power. See, it's funny to me because Templars stand for order and control, which is more or less the exact opposite of what pirates stand for. So naturally, Edward becomes the greatest enemy. He doesn't necessarily kill them for some righteous deed, but more because they stand in his way or some personal vendetta. Edward just wants the observatory to sell or to find his fortune. This selfishness is what leads him to a lonely life. Edward loses his wife and all his friends as they are killed or double-cross him. The game does a great job at getting you attached to certain characters, so when their time is up, you get pretty sad about it. Like if you would have told me that I'd be sad about Blackbeard dying, I'd call you a liar. But nope, here we are. The final straw is when Jason the Kid, or Mary, dies because it gives Edward the right push to join up with the Assassins and fight the Templars. Now that sounds like a pretty good story, right? Well, Ubisoft can't have a normal story, they always gotta make it weird. So now we introduce the Sage, who is a figure throughout time and who's constantly reborn in different eras and is obsessed with Juno, the goddess, the same lady who was released by Desmond. Like always, I'm not sure where this is headed, but we're gonna find out in my next video. I'm not gonna lie, Black Flag is probably the only Assassin's Creed game so far that I'll come back to play all the side quests and the things I missed once my Assassin's Creed challenge is over. They just left you so many things to do post game that I just gotta come back and, play the rest. I just had so much fun playing this game. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new, I encourage you to check out my previous Assassin's Creed videos and reminisce with me. And if you've been consistently keeping up with the series, be sure to subscribe as that does help out my channel a lot. Thank you guys and see you next time.